All right, we have joining me in the studio right now, Shehu Gabam, the chairman of the SDP, SDP, national chairman actually, concerning the elections in Kogi State. Chairman, glad to have you join me.
My great pleasure, thank you so much.
I was just listening to your press conference there. What is your protest about? I mean, you said you're protesting the election, and like I read a while ago, you're asking the electoral umpire, INEC, to cancel the election on what basis?
Well, you know, on moral grounds, I don't think anybody needs to tell INEC to cancel the election, especially in the north central of the state, the senatorial district of the states, because INEC categorizes the election materials into two, sensitive and non-sensitive. Among the sensitive materials are the result sheets. The result sheets was in the hands of some individuals before the election at the polling unit. And that is why most of the polling units, there were a lot of fracas. People refused to vote because the result sheets had been filled up. INEC acknowledged that, and they acted immediately. The result sheets were out. So on that circumstances alone, if you minus any other thing, INEC should cancel that election.
I believe INEC says it will investigate it.
No. Apart from the investigation, the result sheet, which is the cardinal point of an election, after counting votes, the result sheet will be entered. But you find out the result sheet have been entered before the election. That means the entire process have been compromised on that ground. And given our history, the level of corruption that is associated to our elections and manipulation by state actors and non-state actors, and the struggle for INEC to maintain its integrity and sanctity of the electoral process suggests that without any input from anywhere, INEC should have cancelled the North Central elections, the senatorial district, automatically, because one of the most sensitive material have leaked out. So INEC attention was drawn not just by us, entire social media was agog by the result sheets. That is number one. Number two, facts on ground have suggested a lot of variations. These variations are also in the social media, all over the social media. Number one, let me give you an instance. If you go to Adavi,
we must also be careful of what comes out on social media.
No, it's not social media. This is from INEC RF, directly from their portal. This one was copied from their portal directly. So it's not a social media document. I think you should know that. Now, what was there? Adavi have a registered voters, accredited voters, 28,070. And then on the result sheets, you have 88,413 on the result sheet. Accredited voters are 28,070. And then the overvoting based on these, you have 60,343, which represent 85% of inflated votes. Now, if you go to Kogi, you have registered voters, accredited voters, 29,995. And then on the result sheet, you have 57,678. Now, the overvoting there is 27,909, which represent 98%.
But this will affect both your party and the other parties, PDP.
It is not about just SDP. All the parties were affected. That's what we are saying.
Okay.
This is not SDP that was rigged. The process was compromised. That's what we are talking about. The whole process was compromised.
Okay, on the basis of compromisation, not about whether it's your party or PDP or APC, that INEC should cancel the election.
It's on the basis of the process that was compromised. We are saying INEC, this process was compromised. And we are trying to avoid, credibility of INEC being eroded on the very first length. Something must be done. It's there on their IRF. After a while, they pull down the IRF.
Now,
you understand?
Okay.
Now, on Okene, you have accredited voters 36,168. What is on the result sheet? 122,299. And then you have the overvoting of 86,131, which represent 89%. Now the total votes that were inflated are 174,183. On these grounds, you don't need anybody to tell you. Because if INEC have done the accreditation at every polling unit, and they have the number of people that have been accredited in their beaver machines, that number of people accredited must tally with the result sheets. Anything to the contrary, the law says you must cancel that election in that particular result sheet or in that entire ward. The law must be respected. We must respect the law. We must do the needful. It's not about SDP, but it's about the process that have been compromised. And I must say this, that INEC chairman have been cooperative. We draw his attention. He acted very quickly, from all the front, not just SDP. But, when you transfer trust and you rely on the people you transfer trust to, you become victim of those people, because what happens is that those that the chairman have transferred trust to go and conduct this election have compromised most of the people. Otherwise, there is no justification on earth why INEC official should let out result sheets. There is no justification on earth.
Because one is going to begin to ask, how did the result sheet get out? Our time is up. But just quickly, if this cancellation is not done, what will be your next action? Just quickly.
Well, an update to what we have said, there are more than those polling units you have mentioned, because there's an updated press release by INEC about 2 hours ago. More polling units have been cancelled in most of the local government that we have mentioned. And we hope that the INEC chairman will do the needful. This election is very sensitive. We should avoid anything that will create anarchy in this country. Our democracy in a very fragile stage. Anything can happen. Nigeria cannot be the giant of Africa. And in every election, we have just 3 off-season elections in Nigeria. Yeah. I must say that security were properly deployed. We don't have much issues of security, especially in Kogi State. But for the body that is responsible for conducting election, to allow its system to be compromised, speak a lot of volume about how determined we are to conduct free and fair election.
All right.
That's just the point.
All right. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Shehu Gabam, the chairman of SDP.